Hello, all from this humble door. I'm doing another pointless talk and debate on spiritual shit I talked about. Oh my god, where'd I put it? I'm gonna show you the pretty shiny rock. I got a few pretty shiny rocks. This is like a quartz, but they put some cool dye on it, so like you probably can't see it with the shitty camera, but it's kind of like all visual and colory. I like me the colory. I also got me this. This is like a kind of like a balancing, clearing, good energy thing. It's kind of like a flick of the wrist, not saying like it's anything naughty can train you in it, but no, that's terrible ego. It's a little bit late at night, but my housemates are up, so I can do it now because they're up. Just like you do that. I think it's got a cool vibe. Yes, I mean, had the housemates been asleep, I wouldn't have been able to do that, which is cool because I got to show and I wanted to do a thing. Okay, so I'm doing a video on something I learned about certain healers in like certain laws or Bible things or whatever. Oh God, this stupid mask is hurty and yeah, so um, I'm gonna do a random page from the Book of Answers, which is like, I've said it's my style book. The healer as the elements, or the healers as the element powers. If you believe in spirituality and laws, I don't know what it's gonna mean in some weird ass scientific or spiritual equivalent of the sense. Learn something new. Focus hard on a new skill or activity. It helps clear your brain of clutter and keep your thoughts creative and fresh. That's cool. That's pretty cool. I'm also getting another one, which is not for the same person. I'm not getting that. When you give a hug, you automatically get one back. It's pretty cool. It's just like a handshake. Just like me needs to get a new mask, but I don't want to glue this one because I like this one. I always wanted to wear it somewhere, but I never really could wear it anywhere. And yeah, yeah. So like when I was younger and I was learning a little about the healing practices and the healing arts from certain family members and stuff, I learned about the healer and the healer as the elements and the healer having healing as the elements, which I did see a little bit about in the video the other day, which I thought was a little bit weird because it was like water to clean certain water element, heals certain organs, and metal heals the lungs. And I'm like, I don't think I'd want metal in my lungs because that would hurt. It would make them bad. But like maybe it's energy helps clear. But I mean, what I learned, there's all ones. Like you can rub your hands together to practice energy. You go like this in a weird way, and you're supposed to be able to do like a fire energy, right? Or you can do a water or a cold energy, or like a nature energy through different ways, or a wind energy, or a silver energy, and all these different energies. And there's also supposed to be different parts of the healer. The fire energy is supposed to be based for like infections, not specifically poisons, but can also be. But like the fire energy is more to help destroy infections. The earth energy of the healer is to help strengthen the body and the immune system against wounds and infections. The ice energy is actually to slow poisons and infections within the bodies of the healer within like this traditional law sense of what I learned when I was a child, which is kind of like a spiritual belief system. The silver element is to like expose the truth. Also to cut, but that's mainly what the wind element is for. The wind element is also for useful cutting and stuff, which I thought was pretty cool. What was the next one? The water element. The water element is I can't really do it right now, but I've used it in the past. I've like done healing in the past. People have been like, "Here's some money." Like I was like, "You only have to pay me if you're satisfied with the job," and because I don't know if I can do it, I don't know if I believe myself enough, which is weird because honestly, it takes faith in oneself and faith from other people to do healing properly. And water can be used to like draw out the like infections or sicknesses. There is supposed to be a little bit of time energy in it, but that goes more to like which is supposed to be like a staple, so it like makes them temporarily. There's like supposed to make someone temporarily stronger than the wind, which I think is cool. I'm not sure about this whole thing in this situation, but yeah, like I think it's pretty interesting. Like all these laws I've learned about. Oh my god, I put my fingers in the mask. You're not supposed to do that because it's bad luck. Um, yeah, and then silver energy. Oh yeah, there's soul energy or soul healing, which is supposed to be used to heal the psyche and the emotions and the soul as well, like soul mending. Um, there is what were the other ones? I kind of forgot because I don't really use them. There is there's the blessing. There's like the blessings one, which is supposed to be another element too, like the holy balloon. Darkness healing can also be used to help heal and light healing. Which I thought was kind of interesting. Um, I think energy is supposed to be used to restore energy. Oh yeah, sound and vibration. I can't remember what sound is for. Sound is used to soothe and calm when it comes to like psychological healing and this or that, which is kind of interesting. And sound can be used with any other healing. And vibrational healing energy is supposed to be used to be able to like find um ailments or sicknesses or parts of the body. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if it's all true, but it's just kind of like this is just an interesting theory about stuff that I learned about finding like the healer within the books and like so I think some of it might have even been about a certain Bible or something that someone worshipped this or that, which I thought was pretty cool. Um, yeah, I am gonna do a reading for this one. Oh, I forgot to put one back. Forgot to put one back properly. It was upside down. The tortoise. You're too fragmented to do so. Do what fragmented. So do whatever it takes to get grounded. So like ground yourself, calm yourself. Like it's like something I was thinking before. If someone tries to go as fast as they can go, that's like fair enough. You can go as fast as you can go. But if you try to do better or go faster than you go, if you try to go faster than you can go, you're gonna end up tripping and stumbling and have to focus too much on other things rather than your speed. You're actually gonna end up slower or fumbling and going like less distance less quickly because of that. And pushing yourself too hard in the short run means you can go like less hard in the long run. So like running faster at the start of a race means you can't go faster for the last little sprint. You know, if you don't conserve your energy through the whole thing, which I thought was kind of interesting. Kind of like cheaters. You know, I'm not talking about cheating on a test. I'm talking about like, wow. Yes. Okay, so we've got the Wolverine. I think it's kind of cool. The Wolverine's kind of like a delegate of energy. You're a lot tougher than you think you are. So a healer is a lot tougher than they think they are, which is kind of cool. Um, and the mouse, little mouse. You're overlooking some important details, so pay closer attention to what's going on. Okay, so someone is tougher than they think, and someone is overlooking important details of something or a situation, which is kind of interesting. Honestly, like, this doesn't speak to me, which is weird, because, like, I don't want to sound full of myself, but with my readings and my spiritualism, like, you know, I got taught by my mother because it's something that was done in my family for generations, otherwise I wouldn't do it, and Um, like I usually get like 85% happiness and success rate on them, but I don't want to say I can always do that. I mean, I guess when it comes to stuff like that and spiritual readings, you're not supposed to see or know everything as well. Okay, so I'm going to do one from this one. You know, this one kind of speaks to me instantly. It's just on the bottom, but bringers of change. It's like a ferryman, which is kind of cool. It also reminds me of the butterfly dragon thing, like butterfly wing dragons, which I thought was pretty dope. It was on a video game. Um, it speaks enough for itself. I'm not really going to pull the meaning of this, but someone is restoring hope and bringing change and aligning things to their true purpose. It kind of like reminds me of my theory, my dreams. Like, if someone were to be say, an angel, they would know it secretly. And like it also reminds me of their theories, like in certain TV shows, like some of the older ones, it's like, oh, they kill you, they hurt you, and then they talk to those ones and they're like, I wouldn't hurt you. But if they try to kill them, they might do it, which you're not really supposed to do, is because, if something's born the way they are, it's not their fault that they're that, so they're not going to kill you just because of that. Although the ones that possibly, like, hurt a bunch of innocent people and did bad things to do it and hide it might be a different story. So we have acceptance. Where'd this one come from? The creation of light, which was an interesting thing because in my theories, I believe once upon a time in the origin of all creation was darkness. Everything was darkness before there was light. Like existence came into existence and there was darkness and things were being created, and then one day there was light, which was kind of interesting. I don't know if it's accurate or true. Just like my theories about shadows and darkness and light, neither of them actually represents good or evil. Both of them are just two kinds of opposing neutral forces. Like you talk to people about light, there's darkness. That's like, well, both of them are natural forces. Both of them are necessary for a plant to grow. They work in harmony to grow the earth and the plants. They're not necessarily opposing forces. They're balancing forces. So they don't represent good or evil. They're just two different kinds of things. Um, which kind of reminds me of something I got told when I was a child, whether or not it's true, that I've said a million times before about love supposedly being darkness, like the like the shadowy or the shady side of a tree, like the shadowy side of a tree where we sit to read a romance novel, whether or not it's true. I thought that was fairly interesting because it heals you from the harsh sunlight, and sunlight or light was originally in its origins in association with the devil before they fell, and they are an angel of light before they fall because they were the light bearer, which is like, doesn't that mean hell would be bathed in sunlight and everything would be constantly getting sunburned? But I don't know. I've never been there. I'm probably wrong. And then we've got threefold protection. Um, so I'm getting water, wind, and fire. From this, I'm getting water, wind, and fire with light standing in the middle, which I thought was kind of interesting. But yeah, because I've said a million times about my theories about the elements and how they all work in their basis of energy. Like water represents time, and it fills a time occupies a time, and it exists without time. And Earth exists within space. Wind exists and is like an embodiment of energy and creative energy because wind adds to fire, wind feeds at birth and helps sustain the earth and grows the earth. Wind adds to water as a part of water and helps make up all the other elements. So it's the creation of positivity. Whereas fire is either destruction or transformation or negativity because fire will absorb and take wind, destroying wind and taking it onto itself, or it will like try to destroy water, but time can't actually be destroyed. It can just be converted or converged. And what was the other element again? Um, water, wind, fire, earth. Oh yeah, and it will destroy Earth and turn it into ash. And then ash will be able to sustain and revive from water fire, but the fire could destroy everything as well. And then obviously you just got soul or energy or emotions or even vision or whatever the last freaking element is, which I think is pretty cool. And certain elements are just extensions of the other ones. Like ice is an extension of water and wind, meaning thunder is an extension of like energy and wind, or wind and water, or just like wind and wind, which is pretty cool. It's like not an original element, but it's still a very powerful and very like needed part of society, like a very necessary part of modern day society, and it's still quite a powerful thing, which is kind of cool because it can be positive and add. It can be, if used right, it can be negative and destroy. It can be, yeah, it can be this or that, which is pretty cool because um, thunder can come from clouds, and clouds, like I have this view on clouds, like clouds in the sky is kind of like my favorite thing or my favorite element in all existence because clouds themselves in the sky, like we overlook how cool clouds are. It's like this awesome thing we're so lucky to experience and witness. It's like a combination of all of the other elements. Like, it takes water It takes wind. It takes being heated up. It takes being cooled down. It takes the earth and the trees to blow off of it. It takes every other element in existence together to form these clouds, and these clouds like go around and they somehow magically perfectly help sustain the planets and sustain life and do all these things. And you know, clouds are overlooked, beautiful, perfect creation of existence. And I love the clouds so much. I think it's pretty cool. Yes, and then we've got the Garden of the Night, which is cool because I just had there was what was it? Sorry, there was acceptance, the creation of light, 3-4 protection. Now we've got the Garden of Night. So I think this is representing something over the time frame of a day, and then at the end we have hope. Hope is brought, or someone has hope. Hope comes, which is kind of interesting. I think it's cool. I'm getting something about autumn in this one. I could really read the meanings, but I honestly can't be fucked, and someone can take from that what they will if anyone even ever watches this or sees this. Maybe it'll get clarified in the next bit. I've already read one from this book, but taking another one from this book here. 1. Take a walk. 2. See a friend. 3. Contemplate the view. Which is pretty cool in my theory of clouds, because how fucking amazegasm, like are clouds. Clouds are like the most amazing thing in all of existence to me. And certain people in the past have thought I was talking about drugs when I say clouds, and there was a very, very big time there I did not know that that was what that meant to some people. I was like, no, what are you talking about? Is that some kind of new thing? I was always talking about, like, the things you find in the sky. Like, what the fuck, get your heads out of the fucking gutter, people. But yeah. Yes, I'm getting these both in reverse, and then I'm going to draw some other ones. This is just to do with the last reading and the general reading. The Page of Wands in reverse, and the Seven of Swords in reverse. I'm reading it from this book rather than the other book, but I feel like I could or should be reading it from the other book of information I've got. So, a Page of Wands in reverse. Someone is kind of being a little bit inactive. Someone is being non-imaginative, so they're being very logic-based. Someone was uninspired. Someone is not creative. Someone is feeling old and what it fully is. So someone who's kind of like living with older age and doing it and living it and holding it, and someone might want to like do or know new ways or certain new ways or no new ways. I don't know. Like there might be new ways or different ways. They could have already accepted this. They might not, because someone could be like to do with older ways, which is kind of interesting because when you say older ways, it's completely relative to the time. Like, honestly, because some people think older ways is medieval, which was quite a weird time, and then you got the Viking years before that, and then you go back to the oldest days, which was like way back when, in the oldest days, like, which would be to the last one, like the before the creation of light, when before light was created, which I think was kind of cool, because light was created, like if light Lucifer was the light bearer, then this would be before his creation, which I thought was kind of interesting and cool. I don't know if it's all true. I had a Bible to read, but I read some of the pages of it, and the way it explained it about like sin trying to take people away from getting into heaven was like, sin is this, and you fall, and God's just looking the other way. But if I had to have a Bible that I trusted, the accurate depiction would be sin being like a pitcher coming over a cliff and grabbing someone and clawing their leg and trying to grab them down, and God would be a hand reaching down to them, but they're getting pulled too far away for God to reach. because the way that that book had a picture of like the whole symbolism of God and this that, because God created us all. The Bible says and states that we are all God's children and we are all God's creations. So you know, I honestly don't think that was a very accurate depiction of it. Like like this being in his creation, he created everything and he birthed everything, and everything is like a part of him. So, you know, as well as the fact that punishment came from him, so did love. And people only focus on the punishment. Like they say, the earth was wiped away by a flood. Maybe those people were horrible and they were all raping and murdering each other, and no one had consideration, and they were all hurting each other, and they needed the flood in order to not turn on each other, do horrible things. You know what I mean? Maybe everyone was serial killers in that day and age, and they were all raping people and burning people at the cross and doing all these horrible things. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't, which I thought was kind of interesting. Um, then we have the Seven of Swords in reverse, the opposite of cunning. So, what is opposite of cunning? Someone who is not very good at being deceitful or smart. Guile, I don't know. Deceit, so someone who is not deceiving, someone who's being honest. Tact, someone who is not using tactics. Someone who isn't resorting to diplomacy. Someone who's not being very flexible or compromising. No, someone who's not compromising for the greater good of something. Um, in some swords, there's a figure stealing swords from a military camp, which I think is interesting. So someone's giving power back to something with the reverse of this. Like the picture shows someone stealing swords from a military camp. And I'll show you the last one too. It's that little microwave thing from Adventure Time, because this is Adventure Time Tech. But yeah. So I'm getting someone's giving back power or returning something to its truth. So this is seen as a dishonorable act, but it might not be a dishonorable act. And the opposite of them stealing is putting back. So I'm getting someone who's doing an honorable act. Someone's actions may be necessary for the greater good, but that's the opposite. But I'm still getting it could be a similar thing. Someone's belief or ideals might be questioned. You should be flexible and adapt to them. There's not going to be many situations. Someone who can afford to question something, just not for too long, or not too far out of beliefs in what they know and what they know from the universe. Like, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. That didn't really make sense at all to me. But, yeah. Let's see. On to me saying about, like, if the god is there, he must be love or something to do with love, because love came from him just like the punishment did. Light a candle, hold your favorite crystal in your left hand to connect its energy to your heart. Write down the word, the best song which you want, place this under your pillow and sleep on it to cement your intention. I'm not doing that. Oh, this is the wrong book. I am not doing that. Okay, let's see. Okay, give your inner child permission to love things unabashedly. I think that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Do nothing on that. Okay, so on the last one, someone taking something and someone returning something, giving it back. Last card about someone taking something and someone giving something back. I'm gonna do another quick draw about what is being stolen from someone, what shall be returned, and see what I get on or about this. Okay, so we have the past was sending a Knight of Wands. I'm getting someone who is pretty focused or cunning, and someone who is straightforward what they want in the actions. I'm getting the greens. I am getting this is in relation to healing, which I could just be putting in my mindset because that's what the video is about. But they've got an arrow encased in a yellow or opposing energy, so I'm seeing someone is trying to steal their focus or steal their intentions or like claim someone else's intentions were their own or something about intentions or stealing intentions, which is kind of interesting because when you look at it from that point of view, the card doesn't look like the same being or person, or as it should be. For the present, we have the King of Coins. This one here, if you've ever seen it, it's like an evil person or an evil figure sitting at their throne with like a magical object contemplating. Um, I'm seeing that they've got stolen objects, enemy energies, and enemies. I was going to say stolen enemies, stolen energy, and stolen people or stolen allegiances or alliances behind them. Like they're pretending to be someone they're not as well. I'm getting from this. Someone is pretending to be something they're not. Whether or not it's relevant to you, I mean, maybe this video will never find someone it's meant to, maybe something will not. Um, the Ten of Coins in reverse. Okay, so I'm getting someone drop something. I'm kind of getting like maybe someone drops an apple or something is dropped. I'm getting something that was in a basket. I'm getting a woven basket and someone drops an apple or something in a marketplace and maybe someone drops a coin at the same time. Which this is about coins because it's interesting to tap coins. So I'm getting someone drop something innocently. I'm getting someone is hiding something. Someone is hiding something very secretly underneath a skirt. Something is hidden. Someone drops something, someone loses something else at the same time, and something is hidden. Something is hidden from someone with the sleight of hand. You know about the sleight of hand. Okay, so let's see what these cards mean by the good old fashioned books. Okay, so in the past, an honorable, courageous, hasty, unreliable, aggressive, volatile person who is now taking a new direction in life. A great warrior who loves to take the risk and prove themselves worthy. An honorable opponent who defends the vulnerable and fights for their cause. There's someone who can be hot-blooded and temperamental and may rush to conclusions. It may describe someone you know or someone who fits the characteristics or could indicate that you need to develop your warrior-like qualities to defend yourself and your loved ones and also look into situations a little bit more. The Knight of Wands often signifies a move to a new home or a new direction in life, which I think is kind of interesting. The King of Coins or the King of Pentacles? A sensible, fair, honest, patient, generous, practical, traditional, stable, humble, or self-reliant person. I don't know, I'm not getting that from this card. I mean, someone could be there, but someone could also not be as they seemed, as I said before. I'm getting an object or an item that they themselves have bought. Someone has bought an item from somewhere else, from a different place or a different location. Which something is an object of magic. I'm getting something hidden. Something has taken from another person or stolen. Um, an eye. is present. I'm getting like falsified allegiances or falsified allies, like people possibly like that's the wrong reason. They're doing something like someone might be behind someone for the wrong reason, which is interesting. Whether or not they would be behind someone for the right reason, I'm getting like someone used something false in order to get something for themselves, which they're not supposed to have or possess. I'm getting someone who could have even pretended to be someone they are not. I'm seeing a cow skull here, which is kind of interesting. Okay, and then for the last one, we have the Ten of Coins, someone dropping something in a marketplace and someone drops something else at the same time, and someone hides something. So maybe someone dropping this thing means that they drop something to distract them, so to distract from the fact that they were hiding something up their skirt or getting something out from up their skirt, and someone else sees it at the same time, and that's why they drop the coin. A fateful exchange, a sleight of hand, or a trick. Maybe there's going to be a trick in the future at a marketplace, something to do with a woven basket and an apple, and a coin. Ten of coins. Security, inheritance, lasting success, satisfaction, sharing rewards, and contentment. So someone might be even trying to trick someone of something to do with like a security or secure situation, inheritance, or lasting success. Like someone could be like, oh, it's already not someone's, blah blah blah, just trying to get like an agreement, get them to agree with the fact that it's not theirs rightfully, or sign it out of their name by saying it already is out of their name. Someone is going to share something with someone. Someone is going to be rewarded. Someone is going to be content with something or what they have. This could also be wrong because I'm getting someone is the apple. The dropping the apple means someone is distracting someone with something while something else is happening or going on. Um, and someone else drops a coin because someone else notices or sees something, so they drop something because they see or notice something. Um, oh, there is a basket in this. Yes. Okay. I am getting interesting. From this, I'm getting. Where's the pen? I'm no good at drawing anymore. I can't really draw this little symbol. There we go. That's not a very good drawing of it, but something kind of like that. It's kind of like a weird triangle, triangle, like backwards triangle, back triangle thing. It's kind of like. Hold on. And kind of like that. Like, I can't really. I used to be able to draw what I saw in my head, but I can't do it anymore. It sucks. But, yeah. So I'm getting there will be a deceit and something will not be as it seems, and someone will try to distract someone from something with something, which is kind of interesting. But, yeah. And honestly, like in that situation, if someone distracts something from something, or if it is something to do with like something rightfully belongs to rightfully belongs to someone, they're trying to say, "Oh, it's already mine, not yours," blah blah blah, and they try to get them to sign it. That is false pretenses anyway, so they can be like, "Well, as long, especially if they can prove that they said it, like they can say, well, this is false pretenses." So getting someone to sign something under false pretenses, or like something my ex tried to do with me, Sam, in the past. Was they tried to force me into wedlock. I was like, no. So they had also previously before this been like, oh, can I see what your signature looks like? And I was like, well, okay. So I showed them, and then they used that signature, put it on a piece of paper. I was like, huh, I've got your signature. So now, blah blah blah. I get your what you don't realize you possess, or this or that. And I was like, well, that doesn't count because I didn't. You didn't show me the contract. It wasn't clearly stated or signed. There was no dotted line. There was no signature here, and it was under the wrong pretenses. You said, can you show me what it looks like? And under those pretenses, in a legal court system, it would hold up saying that's not a willing contract or not a binding contract because you did not willingly agree to that, it is still considered forgery. It's considered trickery and plagiarism, which within the system of the law or the legal system is wrong and can be outdone or overdone. Like, I don't know. In situations, it's never always good or easy, or as it seems, I gotta not do that anymore because my housemates might be asleep. But it kind of also reminds me of something to do with like a situation of in the past, someone might be like, oh, you're not able or capable to look after or do this by yourself, by someone has deemed this, and it's like, well, sign this to prove it. It's like, well, I'm not actually going to sign that. I'm just going to say, yeah, whatever, oh yeah, right, and not actually sign it, so you don't have any access to it. But blah blah blah. Like someone could say, you have to have a banker for me, blah blah. It's like, well, fair enough. I'm gonna let you do that. I might not let you do that, but you have to follow the rules. And I don't know, like someone could be deceiving you, someone could be not as it seems, someone could be like tricking someone could be throwing something to someone on the side. I don't know. Um, it's kind of interesting. It also reminds me of a situation in the past to do with like me. I had been doing marijuana when I was younger, and I had been off of marijuana, and there's a situation around work where my ex had like um claimed I was on drugs and I wasn't on drugs because I had been clean of drugs, which was the same situation with my housemate, and someone like injected me with a needle. Like came up and ran up to me, injected me with a needle, and then they were trying to say I wasn't deemed to be competent or in control of myself or like worthy of taking care of myself or this or that because I was a drug addict when actually I had been like just previously drugged and like they had, like, those people, the authorities, the people who are supposed to help people, especially the teenagers in these situations, were like, oh, you're not this, you're not that, you're not okay, you're not worthy to be this, but you know, they were literally just outside the fence when it happened. And it's like, well, fuck, you know, it all shows you in the relevance, which kind of does remind me of the Apple situation or the trick as well. Like it's all different kind of Apple tricks. It could be someone getting drugged. It could be someone switching something out. Could be someone hiding something. Could be someone taking a cheese or a fish because they really want a fucking piece of cheese. It could be you know, you never know what it could be. It could be is a poison apple. It could not be the poison apple. I don't know. It's interesting. I honestly don't think it speaks relevantly to anyone I know right now, but it could speak to someone else like that card in particular. But it also could, and it also could not. So I would be definitely wary of like agreeing to something or signing something that someone says has already happened or has gone through or is true without the actual physical evidence with the actual seal of approval. Like they say, oh, the court has already done or decided this, blah blah. You just need to sign the final piece of paperwork. Um, to prove this and blah blah. Which reminds me of a fear I had about something in the past. I had an ex, and when I broke up with my ex, they showed up at my house every second day. I was like, "Give this key back," blah blah, and they're like, "Oh, I lost it." I'm like, "How did you get it?" "No, your housemate let me in." And they showed up to my house all the fucking time because I broke off with them, and they weren't gonna have it that way until they got me back, and we ended up breaking it off later. And I was literally just in the area, and like um I stopped by 3 times, I think, in total. Like, one time I went to see them, and 2 times I was going to a house inspection, and like the bus was like half an hour away. So I was like, well, their house is literally next street from the bus stop, so I'm gonna go see them. And the third time I was in the area, and I was like, apologize for being a dick to me. I don't want them to apologize for being stubborn. I was like, fine, I'll go. But I want to have a cigarette before I go because I was smoking cigarettes there. So I like sat out the front and had a cigarette and then end up leaving because of this or that. And yeah, and then like I also called them. I think I called them 3 times after that because I was drunk and really bored, and I literally just wanted to call them so that I could hang up on them and be like, "You're a dick," because I was really drunk, which is not a good decision. It's not a right decision. It's not like a right sane sound of mind decision. But like, yeah, that reminded me of that situation. I don't think this was the same thing, but then like I think 3 or 4 months later, I forgot about them or that they existed, and someone was like, "Oh, they want you to stop talking to them or stay away from them." I was like, "Well, I haven't talked to them in like 3 months, but I'll agree to stay away from them anyway." But I was always hesitant to like sign anything to say that um, unless I had read it over completely to know that it wasn't something that would affect me in any way. Because like in certain situations like that. Like, who gives a shit about that? They're like 3 months in the past. Like, sure, I was a little bit drunk and I was a dick. I want to be like, I want to call them and say you suck and hang up because I was just in a weird mood about it. But yeah, you know, yeah, which gonna all go into relevancy and relevancy. Like, I even once had a stepmother to one of my abusive exes who, like, I had $4,000 in savings when I met my ex and was there with them. And this person plays it and they're like, tee hee hee, I'm a good person, I'm nice, and they'll play nice, but behind the scenes and in the backgrounds, they will be quite horrible to anyone, young or children as well. Like, they will be a secret wicked stepmother. Like, they were my legal guardians for a certain point in time, but when I met them, they did twist my arm around, like literally grab my arm and twist it and twist it and twist it and twist it and force me to give them $4,000 that I had saved and invested and saved at that point in time. Because they were like 10 or 11 years older than me, and I didn't want to fight or hurt them back because I was a girl. And at that point in time, I was so pacifistic that I didn't want to hurt anyone at all in any way, shape, or form. Like, even if someone had tried to stab me at that point in time, I didn't want to hurt them back or do anything. I just pushed them away from me, and all I was doing was like stopping them from attacking and pushing them away. And they like got me from behind because I did not expect it. But yeah, it all goes to show you irrelevance or relevancy. She was also so wicked that she was convinced she could give her freckles to people and make them look gross. And I was like, well, I did not have freckles, but yeah, interesting. It's all kind of interesting. I mean, I've complained about this a lot on these videos, but like myself personally, up until the age that I was 25, I didn't really get to ever enjoy the fruits of my labor. Actually, that's a lie. I did sometimes, because sometimes I managed to get to my account before like my exes or someone did or snick it. Because growing up, I was always taught, like my family was always like, don't trust the banks, save your money in cash. Um, and there was also a certain age, my mother was like, don't you trust the police or go to the police, they suck. And I was like, blah, blah, blah. I was like, well, I have nothing to do with her. She doesn't even know where I live or where I am anymore. Um, but it's kind of like, I was always taught that. And because of that fact, up until I was 25, I didn't trust the banks because I was still like, oh, mum, even though she's a horrible person, she does this or that, she must be right. And I always save my money in cash. And I think about $400,000 worth of savings in total up until the age of 25 when I worked out around what would be average, give or take a little bit, was like $400,000 worth of savings that has been stolen me up until the age I was 25 from working on and off. Like, there was a little bit there. I had my own business through a Centrelink, which is like a welfare scheme where they pay for you to have your ABN and then you've just got to pay your taxes, which I did pay the taxes, but um, I didn't have the money to do it because my housemate at the time was all stealing from me and blah blah blah, and spreading all these rumors that made people not want to go to my business anymore because they thought I was doing all this and that. I was like, no, I was doing like gardening and I was doing like massages and I was doing sound therapy. And back at that point in time, I was practicing the Reiki and the healing energy, and I had got a lot of good reviews from people, and I was in good stead with good reviews. Um, and yeah, she even got it to the point she lied so much people thought Reiki, or I used my initials on some of my online profiles as my name, JPM, and people think it's associated with shit it's not even associated with, because her and this blonde guy in watermelon pants are just that good of liars. Like, I mean, fuck blonde watermelon pant guy. Like, I refused to have sex with this person online when Tinder asked me if they could feature my profile because I was one of the most swipe right faces because I was like the shiny new thing in town before I got larger and the medication kind of had a toll on my body that I got put on. And this guy like lied and got me kicked off of Centrelink for a little bit. And, I almost starved and I had to try to do this or that and sell everything I had for money just so I could pay rent or eat. And I had to pay that money back and my savings because I was on Centrelink. I didn't have my own business at that point, but I was saving $25 to $50 a fortnight depending. And that all got stolen and that guy spread rumors and there was like rapist people from it and people hated me and or because I refused sex with someone, I was like, well, fuck, you know, it can all be relevancy. Like, I watch on Netflix as a TV show, and you see some people, and some people say some people can be this, some people can be that, but I see people like some people like there was something that I saw that I agree with. Like some people have so much love that they're scared to lose it if they give it out because they've been hurt in the past, or like some people are so used to being objectified or treated like this or treated like that. You know, me myself, I was always too skinny, too fat. Even I know this is weird as a boy, but my shorts were too short or they were too long, and I was trying to hide something apparently, or this or that, or I was too skinny, or I was trying too hard, and I had too good of a body because I was trying too hard, and it must be unnatural, or I must have plastic surgery to look like that, or I must be too skinny or too fat because apparently I eat too much then when it was from medication that made me fat and a thyroid condition. I was like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do? You gotta like give up about being seen um perfectly or good in other people's eyes, and you gotta be happy with yourself. Because if you're happy with yourself and you're happy with what you are, then you can find people who will be happy with you as you are, not as like what they want you to be or what they expect you to be. You know, they got to be happy with you as you are and as what you are rather than what they want you to be or what they expect you to be. You know, you need people who love you for what you are, not for what you're not. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird and relevant. Like people have to accept people for who they are and what they are, not what they're not when it comes down to it, you know. Just be as you are, be what you are. Don't let anyone change you from what you are and what you are in your ways and your unique beauty. The only time I will make an obsession an objection to that rule is like if someone's gonna rape and murder people because they're a little bit psychotic or they're a horrible mentality, then I make an exception. You should change your ass then. But you know, besides that, as long as people are doing good and they're not hurting anyone, who cares? Um, you know, they could be hurting themselves and they need help as well, which is also a different exception to that rule. If someone needs help, not to help themselves, not to hurt themselves. But yeah, you know, I mean, it's all relevant. Like, yeah, I'm gonna go because I'm on my pointless rambling and it's way too late to do another one of those dingy bells, but I love my dingy bells. They're like, ding! But yeah, I'm gonna get another random card and do a card from my. I have such a big collection of cards. I'm gonna show these people. I have the three that I had there. Like honestly, in my randomly pointless readings that no one will probably ever watch. Um, this is like the other rest of my card collection, and I want more. I think this deck is pretty cool. I want one that shows the good and the bad. This is another new deck. Um, this one kind of is cool because it's kind of relevant to certain things, but like spiritual, not actual physical things, just like spiritual things people talk about. More specifically, where is it? I have one. Where's your other one? I bought it with the ones that the orange ones I just used. This one was pretty cool because it's always things people have talked about in my families and stuff. So I thought it was pretty cool and relevant to think. Maybe I should use that one. I really want to use it right now though. Okay, I'm getting two decks right now. Two decks.